Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Tristcast. I'm your host, Tristan Dario, and I invite you to sit back, relax, catch a vibe, and enjoy the show. Hey, y'all, take a moment before you get settled. Follow the Tristcast and leave a rating. Alright, I'll see you in today's episode. Peace. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to today's episode. And today is not any normal episode. Today marks the 50th episode I have done of the podcast. Now, before we jump into anything crazy, before we get into this, I just want to say, some people might be seeing from the last episode, I did the 2 parts of my conversation with Chloe Sullivan, one of my close friends. Yeah, we did that. I wanted to get that out before I got out the 50th episode. I know some people will be like, yo, you could have done it. Don't have to get into it. But yeah, we're doing it a little bit. You were doing it my way, 50 episodes. I wasn't expecting to get to this point. When I first started this, with where I was at mentally, I didn't know how long it was going to go on. I didn't know if it was just purely out of just helping my own mental health. Just sitting down, putting a camera in front of my face, just talking about what's on my mind. I didn't even... When I was thinking about that, I thought, I've always had this mindset where I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it no matter what it is I'm doing. But when I started the podcast, podcast changed everything for me in the idea that anything can happen. I can do anything. All it takes is just sitting down consistently going at it. And that's one thing that it taught me. And consistency, as a whole has been one hell of a topic to really be talking about. But 50 episodes, we made it happen. We're here, which I am so grateful for, because I'm surrounded by amazing people who tell me their opinion. There's amazing people who continue to clap for me, and there are people who just continue to root for me, support me in doing this, and just pushing for my own growth, and me in my own mind, how I view this, just continuing to take the step forward and continue to try to be the better human being I can be. Because, I don't always make the best choices. I don't always treat people the best. I don't always do the perfect things. But bringing that to surface and, putting it out there for other people who also need to look in the mirror and, hold themselves accountable when they know that they're not being their best version of themselves, or, not being thoughtful for the other people around them. You know what I mean? Like some things that I talk about. 50 episodes. Just, I'm going to be honest, with how life was going, I didn't even one thing that I talked about a lot to people that I've hung out with outside of, in my life, one thing I always told them is, if you believe in yourself but you have the doubt, it's like the belief plus doubt equals this. Well, what I used to say was, when you believe in something that you're doing, but you have doubts that is it even worth it, or is everything going the way that's supposed to be going, yada, 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 how doubts work. When you have belief and when you have doubt, that means you're working towards something that is worth your time. And if you continue to allow the thoughts to win and tell you, no, you can push this off, you don't have to do this, or, it's not as important, you can take a week off. When you listen to things like that, that means you're giving in to the lack of consistency. You're giving in to not believing in yourself 110% and just pushing in for that. One thing Tyler the Creator says is if you got a dream, put yourself first. Doesn't matter about the team. You just got to get your thing done. It's not about being selfish. You're not being selfish if you're choosing to put yourself first, putting your dream first. You're not selfish if you have a dream in your mind that you want to achieve, because the right people for you are going to be right by your side through the entire journey. So that's one thing to really put into perspective on that when it comes to belief, doubt, and when you are really thinking about what it is that you're working toward, what it is that you really want to achieve, or, simply put, what you want to make happen in your life. You know what I mean? But I'm very grateful because in the time span. So when we started this late September. I remember the very first episode, not my trailer, but my first actual episode. Welcome to the Tristcast. That came out September 28th. And here we are, 2 months out. 2 months out. Today, man, like, I think it's... When we started this back in September, I was at one of the lowest points of my life, and I think I was beginning to learn the foundations of what it was that I wanted to do with my life. I was starting to figure out all the ins and outs of what really mattered to me. And then over the course, I just learned one thing after another. It wasn't, between the time frame of September to January, it wasn't super difficult. It was more so what I was coming back from. It was mid-year, from the previous year. I just had a lot of build up, a lot of stuff stacking on top of me, and that gave me a lot to work on, and that gave me time to really sit down, think about what I'm going to talk about, think about what I'm going to say, think about what I'm going to do, how I can better any sort of place in my life that I can control. And consistency, even though that was one of the first topics I ever talked about when I started the podcast with my friend Hunter Hoffman. We talked about consistency. He says he had a hard time with consistency. And at the time, I didn't have a hard time with consistency that bad. I mean, I was consistent in the podcast. I was consistent in the things that were creatively, intriguing me. I was getting things that were trying to reel my attention in, and that were trying to show me things about myself that, I wanted to give into more. But for episode 50, it's really talking about, like, in the last 50 episodes, I talk about what kind of human beings we should strive to what we strive to be, or like be ourselves, be authentically ourselves, put others first. Don't, the whole shebang about being the best possible version of ourselves that we can be. And in that time frame, I have done work that has done well for me, but I've also made mistakes. I've also done things that would be considered taking a step back. And what I think is important is being able to pay attention, put those out, and really talk about it. Talk about the way that we, communicate to people, talking about how we consistently bring ourselves to the table. It's like when you are interested in going out and talking to someone specific, like, for example, say you are going out and you're going to meet someone for the very first time. If you have the intention that you like the vibe with this person, and this is the first date you're going on, think about, are you planning to, or is your intention to be or remain consistent in talking to them and going on dates with them? Are you seeking only one instant gratification, or are you seeking one thing specifically out of them for this one specific moment you see them? Like, thinking about how we are bringing ourselves to the table, whether or not, other people are doing the same thing or not. I don't do that all the time because I'm still learning and I'm growing and I'm figuring out how to be that kind of person. I'm not the best, but I strive to be the best because I'm trying to be a great role model and a means to lead other people in being the better. I may slip up, but I will do everything I can to be better from that point forward. Whether or not, I won't attach to the situation. If I did something wrong, I'm not going to sit there and pity myself because I was incorrect and I did something that disrespected someone or I offended someone and it wasn't my intention. No matter what, I take that moment, I learn from it, and I continue to be better. I just choose to be better. And that happened. I just that has happened plenty of times in the time span of this podcast starting and as my growth. So I just wanted to make it very clear that whether or not you are trying to be better or not, or you're taking the time out to work on yourself, remember that there are going to be times where you may make incorrect decisions. And it may make you feel, it may hold you, like, it may make you cringe. I'm trying to use a different form of words, but it just wasn't working. But you will cringe at your past behaviors. You will cringe to, the past actions you did or who you've hurt or how you've hurt them or what kind of person you were 5 years ago. If that thought or that intrusive thought's coming into your mind, just remember this. No matter what you did in the past does not remain who you are in the future. You always have the opportunity to change and be better. When it comes to me, it's my consistency. Maybe not with work all the time, but definitely with my friendships, my relationships, my family members, and stuff like that. I can be a huge dialogue person. I can type back to you, text you, call you, back to back, and then one week it can all go away. Or one day I do all this, and then one day it's completely gone as if it was never there in the first place. And I feel like that is something that deals within me. And that's something I need to deal with. I need to talk to someone about, and I need to figure out for myself on my own, And there's people who are very kind in my life that go out of their way to, educate me on my own actions because, I won't always make the best decisions all the time, but I can count on people, even though I shouldn't. I should be able to do this on my own, but, I'm grateful to have friends that care enough about the human being I am being to other people around me that they're going to point it out, hold me accountable, and tell me, Tristan, this is incorrect. From this moment forward, here are things that we can do. Things like that. And it doesn't even have to feel like I'm being, attacked or anything like that. It's not like that. I take it more like someone's trying to educate me because I don't know everything, but I do know a lot of shit. And I have gone in my own time, I've gone out of my way to find out things and learn things that are important to me. And I may have a lot of random facts and I may have a lot of good, useful information. But that doesn't mean that there's still not someone out there that can teach me. It's strive to learn everything while knowing nothing. It's the importance of understanding that you may know a lot of information, but that doesn't mean you know everything happening. And you may be so focused on what's happening around you that you may not even be paying attention to what you're doing to people around you. And that is what I think is important. And I think that's why it's important to be consistent on how we bring ourselves to the table. If we have an area that we can grow in and be better in, it's better to take the time out to do that. So then, when it comes to a point where we have the opportunity to impact other people, we aren't impacting them in a negative way. And I think there was times where I did that. And what makes me cringe is when I do things like that. When I do things that may have not been the most positive things or, positive impact that I could make for another person, I think about those moments. I think about, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I allow in? Was it my own personal desires? Was it the only thing that I wanted? And if that's the case, what can I do here? And how can I be more, thoughtful, considerate, being a decent human being? Um, but that has been over the course. That is one of the things. Addiction has been a huge thing, a part of this. I would say as I have gone through 50 episodes. At the time, I wasn't doing like nicotine, smoking cigarettes or anything, but I've been smoking weed. I've been smoking weed on a pretty consistent basis. But I have had to go in and out of that, and I've had to pick it apart, make sure I knew how I was feeling was how I wanted to feel, making sure that this is my use, this is how I want to use, or there's been a lot of introspection. There's been a lot of going in, looking at my own personal behavior, and trying to understand consciousness, trying to understand my subconscious, and transform like subconscious habits that weren't good for me and throwing them out. And that was a huge that was one of the biggest teaching moments when I was knocking down my subconscious habits and when I was tearing down my moral compass or my values, and I was tearing down like a lot of trauma that I didn't recognize I had and that I recognized I was holding on to. And in turn, I would say in the last 4 or 5, maybe 6 months, definitely been able to do a lot more. And over the course, this transition I've been in and the time that I've been traveling, it's been feeling more like I got all these ideas, I got all these things I want to get done, I got to get done, and if I don't get it done, I feel like this meteor that's coming straight down for me specifically, that's like, if you don't get it done, this is what's going to hit you. Now, to me, that might be very, very, to other people, that may sound very, over dramatic and stuff like that. But to me, it's more like, this is the stress, this is the positive stress telling me, it doesn't sound positive, but it feels positive. I have this telling me, listen, it's either you accomplish all of this or you get absolutely nothing. And so, like, it's like a plan A, or like my plan B is nothing, absolutely nothing. My plan A is work toward getting exactly how you see it being portrayed to you. And if it doesn't happen exactly that just means God has a different way of putting in the chess pieces. So as I go, I'm still clearing the board, and I'm still going to achieve that checkmate. It's just some of those chess pieces may be switched out, and they may look a little bit different compared to how I may see it. And that doesn't change the blessing. That doesn't change the abundance that is for me and coming my way. What it is I have a vision, but over the course of time, I am being formed more and more into the person I am meant to become. So as I grow, the vision grows, and the vision will alter in the areas where I feel it needs to alter. It's like having a constant vision of how I see my life going and what I'm doing, while as I approach it, it's just one piece after another. It might change a little bit this way, a little bit that way. And as long as I continue to be a good, kind-hearted person, I think that's what's going to make it all happen. And as I've made it clear, I need to remain positive, kind, decent human being to achieve these things. And as long as I'm working toward them and I'm not trying to hurt anybody on my own route, I'll be okay. And the last thing I ever want to do is hurt somebody. So, but 50 episodes. And I've learned this much. And I think that what's been really cool is been able to document it, which is why it's another reason why I remember all of this. And that's really cool too. Makes me feel like I've done myself a service more and more each time I've came back down to sit down and record. And I remember when I wasn't even looking in a camera. I remember when I was just staring at walls or looking at things just to... I remember when I was first getting started in this, I was just like trying to sit there and find things to talk about because I didn't even recognize what it was I wanted to talk about. And that has been something that has gone over and over and over again over this time span, like thinking about what is this podcast? What am I going to do with this podcast? Is this podcast changing? But I think over the time, it has become more and more authentically what it is, and that is me, myself, growing, trying to be a good person, while I come across the people I live out my life with, and bringing those people along with me, and us talking about what's happening in our lives, and talking about where we are and how we want to be better, or what we want to do to be better, and stuff like that. And yeah, Leonte likes to be a comedian and stuff like that. And, that episode with Leonte was really funny. And I got to do another episode with him before I leave, because I feel like that would be good. I'm trying to stay centered, as you can tell from my people who are watching. It's just and these glasses are so my glasses are so cloudy because I've done so much driving. I'm just very grateful because I got, here's what I'll say. I got really down in the mud last year, and I was surrounded by really creative, hospitable, loving, kind people. People that sought to form their own community, people who sought to give to one another, and be there for one another, grow with one another. It was a beautiful time. I was surrounded by amazing people, and I still am, but my lack of consistency in some areas of my life have led me to not have strong relationships with these people for longer periods of time. And that is how I'm taking my, from this moment forward, I can reach out to them and I can tell them, hey, I have not been the best friend or the best person to, be in your life, but I want you to know this. I apologize, and I intend on bringing myself more to the table more. And if I do need help, I will state it, but I was surrounded by amazing people who brought me out of the mud. I took an opportunity that came to me, and I went somewhere, and I went outside of my comfort zone, and it ended up becoming one of the greatest things that ever happened to me in my life. This whole entire situation. It's definitely not my first big break. But here's what I can tell you is this. Because of the people that I was surrounded by, they instilled that sense of feeling alive into me enough that I was able to sit down and put my creativity on paper, on a machine, and I made something. And incredible people have collaborated with this. Incredible people have been on this show. I've had Hunter Hoffman. I've had my friend Emma, Leonte. Oh my gosh, I've had my friend Neil, my friend Colton, my friend Sierra. I've had Chloe. I've even had my niece or my little sister Reagan. It's the amount of people who have chosen to support me and be here with me and remain close to me even when I haven't been the best of friends. But they would probably look at me and tell me, Tristan, we all got shit going on. I got much love for all of you. And I got much love for all the friends who haven't been on the podcast yet. All the people who have, I had this conversation with a friend not too long ago, and they told me, I know you don't let everyone on your podcast. And, it's not that I don't let just anyone on my podcast. For me, one major thing is really the vibe. If I vibe very well with you, I'm more than and if we connect on certain topics that I very much care about and that you very much care about, there's more than likely going to be a chance you and I do a podcast episode. But it's not that I don't bring just anyone on. There are people who I've said just want a platform just to talk, who don't really care about the people, who don't care about, what's happening, may not even care about me. They just want a place so then they can get their voice out. There's some people who do that. But then there are people who genuinely want to get out there in the community, help people, bring something, like Chloe and I conversation, talking about things that men probably don't even know. I just read an article today about the fact that there are more, that everywhere in the United States has increased in their STDs. Everywhere in the United States, STDs have gone up. People aren't being responsible with using condoms or not understanding proper and healthy sexual education. Chloe and I were literally just talking about this fact and how, a lot of people going to school don't even get taught the real things and what they need to know. And then you got people going out having unsafe sex, not really doing anything logically or, not having, not being safe. And I think that is the issue that, I have friends who want to bring stuff like this to the table because there's people who need to hear it. And the podcast is for not just simple conversations to talk about just, there are going to be conversations like that. There's always this podcast has the opportunity to be so much. And I want it to be that. I want it to be a branch that brings more and more individuals together. And I want it to promote educating people on the right things, talking about the things that people don't want to talk about, having the uncomfortable conversations, and talking about important things that some people just try to continue to teach isn't as important. And then at the very end of it all, even if we don't talk about anything, we're at least talking about where we're at on our life and how we are trying to be better and being vulnerable. Which means anyone can come on this podcast. It just matters on, are we going to be on the same page? I'm going to care about you. Are you going to care about me? Or are we going to care about the people? It's really what it's about. And it's not just, I'm not perfect at this thing. I'm definitely not perfect at this thing. And, I would love to have more people on here. Adam Fady is another person I want to have on here again. He and I were just talking before I went on a trip, and we want to talk about AI and how it has its impact on the world. I think that's a great conversation to have. How it will impact us on our own lives, how we get work done, or how we, yada 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 of things. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't want people to think that I just let anyone on here, or don't let just anyone on here. This is a place where you can feel safe. This is a place where you can chill out, listen to someone on their own journey, and maybe take something away from it. That's really what this is all about. And if I can have more people who talk about their journey and where they're at and how they got there and what led them to think that where they're at is where they're supposed to be, I want to have those conversations with you. But with all the people I've had on here, I just want everyone who hasn't been on here yet, all my friends who are in my life and all the close people in my inner circle, if I haven't shout you out, if I haven't talked about you, if I haven't said certain things that have happened in my life that you have been a part of, don't take that as a means that I don't want to talk about you and that you don't have anything close to my heart. It's just, most of the time, these thoughts of these people that I shout out and talk about my conversations with, it's because, these specific conversations just were really good points, and I had to put them out there for other people like Neil and Chloe, Hunter, even my friend Emma and Sierra, like a lot of people that I have conversations with have given me such great insight and wisdom on how I can go about things and how I can bring myself to the table. So, just because I don't talk about you specifically, just because this is my shit. And this is the things that are impacting me along the way. Just because I don't bring up a certain topic or a certain thing doesn't mean that I don't care about it, don't care about you, don't care about nothing. I am a man with ADHD who does not take medication because he does not like pharmaceutical drugs. He smokes weed, and he has thoughts that come in at 100 miles per hour. at all times of the day. Even as I talk to you right now, or as I do this, I got thoughts going in and out, in and out, in and out, but I'm able to look past them. One day, you may hear something. You might get something. But don't ever look at me and think that I don't care about you enough that I don't talk about you. And I don't even know why I'm using this moment as that means to give you that time. But if you needed it, I gave it to you. That closure's yours. There's a lot of people I do come across that I want to give everyone as much as I can of myself without overdoing myself. And that is a huge topic. Giving yourself to everyone is so unrealistic, because how will you have any for yourself at the end of the day? And that's just another thing. It's like if I feel that I'm required to make something, known about a specific person, or if I have to talk about something specific, that's not going to be organic. It's not going to be natural. It's just going to be talking about this because I feel like I have to. But I don't. In this moment, it felt completely natural and organic, and I felt that I wanted to just talk about it because there are a lot of people who want to be on this podcast, and things just didn't align and didn't work out. And I know there may be some people who think, oh, Tristan just didn't care enough or didn't want me on here. It's not the case. There's people that have literally made me, there are people, because I wasn't the best at communicating in the past. There are people who just didn't give me the vibe that they truly cared enough to be on the podcast, or didn't really want to sit down and talk to me for 45 minutes to an hour. So if I get that vibe, it's not you. It just means we need to sit down and talk a little bit more, because there's obviously something there that we want to sit down and talk. But, if we don't know each other, and if we don't actually have anything, if we don't have anything in common when we actually talk, and it doesn't feel like a genuine conversation, that's not something that's actually going to blossom into anything. That's not going to come into fruition. That's just us talking. And that is something that happened a lot when I was first starting this. People were like, oh yeah, I'd love to be on it. Okay, let me get your information. Okay, here it is. Sorry, I'm not busy. I'm sorry, I can't do it. And that's why, things happen that way. And, it's miscommunication. We got things going on. People actually don't have, the time. And I 100% understand that, which is why I'm always open to pushing it off. Let's do it at a later date when both of us are easily able to do it. You know what I mean? Because then it shows that I'm interested, you're interested, but we're putting it off. Doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. Just means that it needs some time away. There was a lot of people I wanted to do podcast episodes with while I've been back. Didn't always work out. There's always other things going on. But I'm very grateful for the people that I got to do episodes with. And there's some people who will get an episode with me soon. But when I'm gone and I'm on the road, that's when it's done. Then it's on to my big plans on what it is I want to do around the country and stuff like that. And then, we'll see it from there. But to 50 episodes, to have this much growth, to see where we're at now, to really look at how much growth we've made, where we're at, how many people are by us, how many people are supporting us, how many people we have here in the community now. The amount of people that, open up and tell me how much this has helped them, how many people are saying, the things you're talking about would be, if I didn't have this, I wouldn't be able to go and do certain things, and that's the kind of motivation and inspiration I want to give. If I can somehow introduce that inspiration to you on getting up and doing something different for yourself, to push yourself where you really want to be, that is a story I could not help but want to hear over and over and over and over again. The amount of times that people are able to get up and push for their dreams because at first they didn't have it, but then they were able to achieve it, that is beautiful. Because there are so many people that are taught to believe that their goals and dreams are not reachable and that the only thing they can do is just go and get a regular life and just do that for the rest of their life and appreciate it. And, yes, that is exactly what you have to do. Take what you can and accept it and just love life as it is. But there's people that get taught not to chase their dreams because the people before them were taught that dreams are not capable of achieving. It's impossible, and you're better off not doing that. You're better off doing this, doing that. No, don't listen to anyone who tells you that you're better off doing something else than chasing your dreams. Go chase your dreams. Go live the lifestyle that's going to make you happy, but do it responsibly. Go live the lifestyle that's going to make you purely joyful if you're able to do that. And if you're not able to do that yet, remember this: busting your ass at a job that you hate so that you can have the life that you want to live that is so much better, because you understand that you're now working towards something to achieve. And yes, we get tired. Yes, we don't want to keep pushing. But when we remember that the light is right at the end of the tunnel, as long as we just go towards it, if we pay attention at how long or how far away that light is, we will always be stuck in suffering. I'm not saying accept the cards you're dealt. I'm saying take what you have in your tool set. Do what you really want to do on the side. And everything that you're doing is going to go into that. And the more you put time into it, and the more you understand that the sacrifices that you're putting up is all going to be worth it. What your sacrifice, this is one saying that really keeps me going. What you may be sacrificing right now could be 100 times more what you'll get as long as you keep going. Because no matter if you sacrifice it right now, you won't have to sacrifice it when you're 40, 50 years old. So sacrifice it right now. Sacrifice it right now, because just like how I talked about several months ago about how they're trying to increase the retirement age to 70, here's what you need to do. We aren't guaranteed that we're going to live till 50 and 60. So if you want to be the person, the next big artist or the next big, DJ or anything you want to be. If that's what you want to do, start now. Work toward that. So then before you are at some age that you may not even have the time or the ability to put time into, do it now. Because if you do it now, and this is the thing that pops in my head that Chloe always used to say to me, help yourself. If you do it now, you won't have to worry about it later. And if you don't have to worry about it later, how much stress do you no longer have? There's some of you, or a lot of you, who are working 9 to 5s or working jobs that beat you down. But if there's anything I can say, here's this. As long as we continue to work toward the goal, as long as we keep our eyes on the prize, nothing can stop us, and nothing will stop us from achieving these goals. So do it. Just push. I'm right here. Send in a message. There is a link in the bio on Spotify and on all other major podcasts where you can find this podcast. There should be a link where you can put in voice messages or voice answers and stuff like that. Do that. Or leave a comment on YouTube. Leave a comment on today's episode on Spotify. And just tell me what you think of the episode and stuff. But really, let me get some water. If you work toward it, and if you keep your eye on the prize, everything you're doing right now is going to lead you to having what you're dreaming for, or what you see, or what's being portrayed in your mind. There's a lot of people who say there's people who say they don't have like an internal voice, or like they don't have a voice in their mind. They only see pictures or videos or movies, like blips of like images when they have ideas and thoughts. Yeah, I definitely know what that means. When you can visualize your thought, or when you can hear your thought, there's several ways that you can see or hear or whatever the fuck. Just remember, what you're seeing and what you feel is for you also knows it's for you. So as long as you're working toward it, you're going to achieve it one step at a time. Don't be afraid. Don't allow the fear or the anxieties. Don't allow how everything else is working in the world. Don't even allow the phrase, this is how the world really is, to stop you from achieving your goals. And one of my goals is to change the world in a way that no one can ever change it back. I want to change the world in such a positive way that it ultimately cannot be turned around, and it won't be turned around. Yes, it's going to benefit all people, not going to benefit only one side of people. And I don't care how other people may see it. I don't care if other people think I'm wrong. Eventually, it's going to be seen as one of the biggest things that ever changed the world in the most positive ways. I'm going to be the one who achieves that. I've seen it. I see it for my life. I see it for myself and the people around me. I'm going to do it. And as long as you work toward that, when you have that mindset that you're not going to take anything less than what you see, nothing can stop you. Nothing can already stop you. I mean, you are already abundantly favored. You're abundantly blessed, and you are divinely favored. Like, you have the capability of achieving whatever you want. So do it. No matter if you feel like you're in a good place or not, half the time you're not in the best place. You might as well just do it right now, and you might as well start now. Because if you don't start now and you keep on waiting, you're going to wait till it's too late, and then you're not going to have any opportunity. I talked about this before. If you have an idea in your mind, because sometimes you get a random idea that's a great idea, and you're like, holy shit, that's such a great idea. But then several years down the line, you see someone else had the same idea and they brought it to life. Do you want to be the person who brings it to life yourself, or do you want to allow someone else to get that idea from the universe and make it themselves? Just do it. Whether or not you like it or not, whether or not you like the situation you're in, whether or not you like the job you're in, you like what you do, you got to understand that you got to do stupid, shitty, fucked up, annoying work sometimes, just to get to where you want to be. And that's how it is. You got to be able to experience life, to be able to create the things for other people who are soon eventually going to experience what you're experiencing. So do it now, start now, no matter how it may look, and you got it. I guarantee it. But with that, I would like to say I am abundantly blessed to be joined by each and every single one of you who are a part of this community. I am abundantly blessed to be surrounded by the incredible people who continue to support me, because they see what I'm doing and they see how happy I am, and they want to see me succeed. So thank you. I love you greatly. I love you wholeheartedly. I don't like, if I could fucking hug every single one of you and kiss you all over your fucking heads, I would. Because what y'all have given me, you may not see it. You may see, like, Tristan's just this fucking extroverted guy. He just does this on a whim. I appreciate that. If that's the way you see me and view me, I am grateful for that. Just know that you are helping me a little bit more than you may think. But with that, I would like to say I hope you all have a wonderful morning, a wonderful afternoon, a wonderful evening, and a wonderful night. And before we leave, here's to another 50 episodes.